Hey guys, Haxer Tech here for another video, and today we're going to be talking about my pick for the best web browser that you'll be able to use in 2020. So there's a number of different browsers that you can use on your desktop machine, but the one that I've picked as my favorite here for 2020 is Vivaldi. Now there's a lot of different options out there, and there's been a lot of improvements to existing browsers like Firefox and Chrome and other browsers out there, but I'm going to go over the reasons that I think Vivaldi is the best choice for web browser in 2020 and some of the things that I think just make it overall a really great experience for your browsing needs. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about here is just the overall layout. Now for those of you who don't know the history of Vivaldi, the CEO of the company previously worked at Opera. I believe he was previously in the executive leadership there, if not the CEO at that company. But he comes from Opera, and he brings some similar kinds of knowledge in terms of browsers here. So you can see that just off the top of the story here, there's a lot of similarities to Opera in some ways. So similar to the layout here with the speed dial function, that's something that I think is definitely, at least in part, adopted from Opera here. But there's a lot of differences in Vivaldi, some things that are kind of taken from other browsers, and some other unique things that make it very special. So one of the things that just off the top here is really unique with this browser that I haven't seen in other browsers. Keep in mind, I haven't necessarily used every browser in full detail, but I have used Opera, I've used Chrome, I've used Firefox, I've used things like SRware Iron. I've really tried to use every major browser, at least in some capacity, to test it out, both for work and for personal use. And my overall experience with Vivaldi has been the most positive. Now, this is not going to be the best browser to compare specs or anything of that nature. This is just my favorite browser feature-wise and that fits my needs. So here you can see I have a customized icon, which I haven't tested this in Opera. I don't believe you can do this, but I haven't seen other browsers that really exude this feature to be able to customize the icon of your layout here for your speed dial. And so I can actually set, as you can see here, I've put my logo for one of the bookmarks that I have in my speed dial, which is really cool because if I want to have a custom view and a custom layout for my speed dial here, I can just choose all the different websites that I want, and I can set a specific icon based off of whatever the function of that website is, or just kind of customize it however I want. So that was pretty neat in terms of features. But I'm going to go ahead and go over some of the layout things here. To start off, when you first download the browser, you'll be able to import all of your bookmarks from an existing browser, which is pretty standard from any browser. I think that's usually pretty common here, but you can see that off the top you'll be able to choose which browser you're coming from, and you can import all that data in here very easily. Now, Vivaldi is a browser that is based off of Chromium, and that means that you're going to get a lot of these similar kinds of benefits that Chrome offers, but with more customization. And so here's the main website if you want to come here and explore some of the features. Vivaldi does also have an Android version that's currently in beta, which I have used. It does not live up to my expectations rather, compared to the desktop experience. The desktop experience is definitely my favorite. The mobile app I think just isn't there yet because it is beta. There's still a lot they need to do and some things that they need to tweak, but it is heading in the right direction. So the desktop experience is definitely what impresses me the most. You even get, when you sign up with a Vivaldi account, which you can see here in the top right, I am logged into my account here, but you can see that there's a lot of different things that you get with Vivaldi. So you get a mail client, you get the browser itself. When you sign up and you create an account, it'll sync all of your passwords and data, just like if you were creating a Google account and associating that with your Chrome browser. But Vivaldi has a few focuses on things that other browsers don't necessarily focus on. Privacy is a big thing that some newer browsers are starting to make a point now, and Vivaldi definitely focuses on privacy, which you can see here. They advertise the focus on privacy and efficiency as well. So just to go through some of the cool features here that I've been using with Vivaldi, I have customized the layout here, and you can see in the right-hand corner there's this almost barely noticeable bar that if I have it minimized, you can't really see it. Now by default there is a sort of a taskbar at the bottom of your browser that will allow you to open or launch certain functions, and it's basically doing the same thing as this little bar here, but I've customized it to just show here, so it's a little bit less visible when I'm just using the full experience here. But the cool thing about this function and this little tool here is that if I want to go into my sidebar, I click on this, I have the ability to see all of my open tabs, which you can see here. So if I want to go to any specific page, I can just double click on it. So this here is just allowing me to kind of navigate between windows. So you can see if I double click here, it's going to bring me back to this tab. So I can jump between my different windows. I can also do this by going into the top left hand corner, and I go into my Windows section here, and you can see all of your open tabs as well. You can see your pin tabs and all of that as well. So there's a lot of different ways to view the tabs that you have open, whereas with Chrome, you're a little bit more limited. You primarily would look at the tabs here, and if you have an extension that makes it easier to visualize if you have a lot of tabs open, that can be very helpful. But Vivaldi has all of that built into the browser itself. Another thing that is useful, not everyone will necessarily use it, but it is cool that they've added it in here, is notes. And so I can go in here and I can create brand new notes into the system here, and I can create folders that I can store those notes into. I can drag them in there just like this. So if you have just notes that you want available in your browser, since you use your browser, or you may use your browser more than all of your other applications, it's nice that that's built in. It could definitely be handy to have little quick notes in there. But the other thing, those are really the main features that I use here from this interface. You can also view your bookmarks in here. But what I actually like interface-wise for bookmarks is when I go to a new tab and I browse my bookmarks here, this is the interface that I really like to use, and it makes it really easy to go in and control your bookmarks, control all of your folders. Actually, another thing that I noticed that is very helpful as well is when I'm going into the different folders that I have docked onto my bookmarks bar here, you can go in here, and instead of having to click on the bookmark icon on a certain website and then go and choose through different folders, I can just go into the folder where I want to add this particular website that I'm on, and I can just click on Add Active Tab. So if I click on that, you can see that it's going to add my current tab into that folder, and then I can just edit it, change the name of it as I like, but it just saves an extra step from having to either drag it into a folder or having to click on what you'll see here, the option to click on the bookmark option and then having to choose the folder. So there's smart little tweaks and things in there that make it really easy to do things that you'll do in other browsers, but you just do it in a different way here. You can also see all of your closed tabs here, and you can see synced tabs here, which is something you can also do in Chrome, I believe, or at least in the mobile version they do have synced tabs, but they have a really nice design for the sync tabs in Vivaldi. And there's just a ton of features in here, which is the thing that I think I liked really the most about this browser. If you go into settings, you'll see that the amount of customization is incredible. You can change the appearance of the browser, and you can tweak all the fine-tuned things here. You can adjust all of the different settings with your address bar, choose the location of your different panels. You can choose which kinds of quick commands that you want visible, adjust your privacy settings, as well as control everything from updates and your downloads, control the syncing through your Vivaldi account, which personally I like the way that works, kind of being separate from the Google account, and I do not like the different browsers out there like Brave, which requires you to use a QR code. I like being able to have a an account of some kind that actually syncs all that information, so I can just sign in and have all of my data there. So that's very nice. So there's just a lot of different options that are really powerful here to customize your experience in Vivaldi. Now, I have it set up with a pretty basic layout here. Another thing that you can do as well is you do have the option to change the theme. And I have already again set it because when I first set up the browser, I just chose one. But off the bat, you immediately have the ability to choose between all of these different custom themes, which usually you would have to install an extension or something separate to be able to change the theme of the browser. But you can see here just built in natively, you have these initial themes. You can edit them, but you can also get any of the themes that would work for Chrome. You can use those as well. So you're not limited to just these themes. You can also kind of go in here and look at, you know, darkness settings and things like that. So there's just a ton of options that you can fine tune here. Another thing that's extremely useful, at least for me, with this browser is the tab stacking function. And so if I was to grab a tab and I just want to hover over another tab, and when I put that tab on the existing tab, I just choose one, I drag it over. You can see what it's done is it's now stacked these tabs. So if I had a number of different tabs open for a similar function, let's just say, for example, I was on YouTube and I had 6 different tabs open for different YouTube videos. What I could do is I could stack all of my YouTube tabs, and maybe I want them separate because I have multiple videos opened and I don't want to go back and find them. I can stack all those YouTube tabs, and then I can stack all of my tabs for if I was using Microsoft Office online or something like that. So you can just stack similar things, or even if you wanted to just stack things of a certain category, maybe all your videos that you have open and all of your work stuff you have open, you can kind of keep it separated however you want. There's no limit to how much you can stack. And then if you want to unstack them, you simply right click on that stacked group here, and I can ungroup it and it'll remove it. And you also have the option, instead of just dragging, you can control click. So if I control click on these 2 tabs here, I can then right click on either of the selected tabs, and you can see here that I have the option to create a new tab stack where it's just going to go ahead and combine those tabs. I have the option to do other similar things. Again, these are things you can do in other browsers that just, the layout here is a little bit different. Instead of duplicating a tab, their option is to clone a tab. Does the same function. You have the option to move the tab to a new window, so I can bring that forward. You can mute the tab. Stack tabs by host. You can also close tabs to the left or right of the existing tab, which is useful. So if you wanted to close all these tabs, you can do that just with one click there. Or likewise, if you wanted to close everything to the right of this tab, you can do that very easily as well. But the most powerful feature there, again, is definitely the tab stacking. But I also like the design of the previews that you get when you're hovering over the tabs. Is really useful as well. It really gives you a good view of what's in that tab. So I really like that as well. So those are some of the big things that I use daily with the browser. Speed-wise, it's been very good. I definitely would compare it to resource usage from Chrome. It is Chromium based. Depending on what you're doing, it can use a little bit more memory and a little bit more CPU, but I think that overall performance-wise, I certainly did not get this browser for the purpose of having a better performing browser. And the machines that I use, especially for work, are loaded up, so there's not an issue where I'm limited with resources. But my purpose was getting something that's functionally best for my needs and that has a design that I like. Not to mention that with Chrome, the default layout has changed. I'm not a super huge fan of some of the design choices that Google has gone with the new design, the new layout, and the newer versions of Chrome. And then also, they're continuing to make changes that kind of globally across the board, especially in the business world, really affect my usability there. Now, the final thing that I wanted to cover here before in this video is the ability to search for your bookmarks. So if I wanted to look for a specific bookmark here, you can see that what I have here is just a list of all of my bookmarks that come up when I do a search for something. So whatever I want to search for, it searches at the top here. You can see that it's going to allow me to search Google for whatever I've typed in, but also it looks through my bookmarks for all of the different things that I have bookmarked. And so I can actually just search my bookmarks straight from the address bar, which is extremely useful. I don't know if that, at least as well as it's integrated here in Vivaldi, is something that works that way in other browsers. I've not seen the functionality work this well. So it's very nice that it has it all kind of integrated into one location. So I don't even need to go into my bookmark section. I don't have to go and jump into different places. From my actual address bar here, I can not only just do a search on the internet, but I can also search through my bookmarks and saved things. I can even see from my history there, and I can just choose a bookmark. It'll take me right there without having to actually separately search. So that's super useful and another really great feature of the browser. So again, this is just a list of the things that I like most about Vivaldi. I really encourage you guys to give it a try if you've never heard of it. It is completely free, like most browsers are, but again, functionally, this has definitely been my favorite browser to date, and I use it for both work and personal use as my daily desktop browser. So would love to hear what you guys think about the browser. Hopefully this video review is helpful for you guys. Leave comments below. Let me know what you think. If you like the video, give it a like. And otherwise, I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.